trunks, they ever ready. Assault and battery, if you scared, you never ready.
Okay, this is gonna be a video about Daniel Bryan, and before you guys get mad, you know, this isn't a hate video on Daniel Bryan by any means, although it may seem like that. There was one point where Daniel Bryan was definitely one of my favorite wrestlers on the main roster. And it just seems like ignorance and just pure stupidity is really made me feel like this guy has more, what's that term where you have no brains? More guts than brains, maybe? That's probably the best term I can think of Daniel Bryan. This guy reached the top of the WWE. Within WrestleMania 28 was really the takeoff of the whole Yes movement. And WWE kind of put a tame on it. You know, they had a good grasp of things going into WrestleMania 29. Him and Kane did the whole Team Hell No thing. And there was a big difference between how over Daniel Bryan was during WrestleMania 29 and WrestleMania 28. But then, let's fix this. WrestleMania 30 was definitely just the peak of everything, where he wrestled twice, he won the world title. Things couldn't be better. Unfortunately, he bad injury, and he knew going into, I think it was going into WrestleMania, he knew that he was injured, and it was just a matter of time of how long he can put it off. And there was a point where he couldn't do it anymore. So he relinquished the title, and he was gone for almost 1 year. There was talks of him never wrestling again because a neck problem led to a shoulder problem where the strength wasn't coming back. You guys know the whole deal. So a guy comes back, pretty much a career-threatening injury, an injury where doctors told you that you may not wrestle again. You are very fragile. Your neck probably will never be the same again. Guys like Steve Austin, guys like Edge, guys like Chris Benoit, guys like Kurt Angle, Lita, these 5 or 6, however many I named, they all had injuries on their neck, and they were never the same again. And Daniel Bryan seems like, in his mind, that he is not like any of these others. All these 5 whatever guys I named before, they all changed their style in a drastic way. Stone Cold became more of a brawler rather than a ring technician. Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit, they kind of kept their same style, but it wasn't as hard-hitting. They really kept their big, just all-out, balls-to-the-wall style for the big shows, which is understandable. Lita, same thing. Edge, you saw a big just change in style. Daniel Bryan seems like he's a guy who, whatever the doctors tell him, he has that indie guy mentality where, you know, oh brother, I'm just going to go out there and, you know, do it for the fans. And there comes a point where, you know, Daniel Bryan doesn't need to do this kind of stuff anymore. And he is doing it, I guess, for his own pride and for the fact that that's what people know him as and why they love him. But you look at a guy like Shawn Michaels who trained Daniel Bryan, which is the most ironic thing of all. Shawn Michaels had that career-threatening back injury, and he came back in his style. And Rey Mysterio is another example. He had a knee injury, many knee injuries. They come back, and their style has just changed a full 183, whatever number you want to throw out there. It's totally, they're a different guy than what they were before they left. And the funny thing is that you would think that Daniel Bryan would be intelligent enough to really take that into consideration, where Shawn Michaels, his trainer, suffered a back injury. He comes back, and now he's not going to be as crazy as he once was, because he knows that back, you just need one bad bump or one bad hit and you're just paralyzed. The neck is a very, very important part of your body, and you do something to your neck, you're literally done for the rest of your life. And I just don't know what it's going to take for Daniel Bryan to realize that, because this guy comes back in January, enters himself into the Royal Rumble, and his first match back on SmackDown, what is he doing? He's landing on the neck. Guys are working him over on the neck. He's taking hard Irish whips into the corner. He's still doing the suicide dive into the barricade. What is it going to take for him to realize, and hey, you know, fast forward literally 4 months later, I'm injured again. I got to relinquish the title. I'm like, buddy, like people were telling, like all the podcasts you listen to, they would all say Daniel Bryan is working the same style he was before he left. It's only a matter of time before his neck gives out again. This guy is not physically capable, I feel, of being at a top level WWE superstar status like John Cena was, whatever. I'm not even downplaying, I'm not even saying he's not capable. It's just he's not smart enough to realize that the style you're working, it's going to kill you sooner or later. And the fact that it's 2015 now and he pretty much took all of last year off, and now you don't know how long he's going to be gone for. I can put money on that this guy will not be in wrestling, in ring competitor within 5 years. I would give him 5 years maximum. You're not the same guy you once were, and it's time to really change up your style. And if you say that you are as good as, if you're as good as you think you are, it shouldn't be a problem of changing your style, because there are many guys, Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio, just to name three, who really changed their whole style around and were still able to put on great matches and great performances, and Daniel Bryan should be no different. And being in the situation he's in now, who knows how long he's going to be gone for. I would probably give him another 8 to 9 to 10 months, maybe less than a year, but just crazy how a guy can just rise up, reach the top of the mountain, be injured, his neck injury, relinquish the title, come back, and literally the same thing that happened a year before. Reach the top of, literally, he is in a ladder match. He's at the top of the ladder, grabs the Intercontinental title. Time to relinquish the title once again. I know it's bad luck or whatever. Mother Nature may not be as nice to Daniel Bryan as she is on John Cena or guys like look at Ric Flair. The guy's 60, whatever, 70 years old. And he's not wrestling anymore, but he was wrestling he's about 30 years older than Daniel Bryan is. One's just kills himself in the ring every night, and one guy just chops, does the little things, but he makes them count, and that's how you define a great professional wrestler. A guy who can just do bare minimum and make it mean so much, where Daniel Bryan does suicide dives every single match, and he just lands on his neck every single match. And what's it mean just for a big ooh spot in the middle of a SmackDown event? And you guys, you really want a reality check. Knowing the situation Daniel Bryan's in now, go back and watch his last match with Sheamus on SmackDown, and you'll just cringe at this guy's taken bump after bump, neck just slammed all around, and what do you expect to happen? It was going to happen sooner or later, and unfortunately, with his luck, it happened way too soon. And I hope him a speedy recovery, but when or if he comes back, it should be a very eye-opening thing that, it's time to change things up drastically and not be the same Daniel Bryan that you were, because obviously it may have got you the crowd behind you, but now it's time to think about yourself and your future and your longevity in wrestling. And being the same old Daniel Bryan you were, it's just gonna put a fast ending to your career. So that's all, and I'll see you guys in the next video.